This is 1,200 pounds of International Harvester rust. I'm going to build an engine stand. It's going to turn into a run stand as time goes on. I'm taking a break from my F-250 build, waiting for funds to come back up. I got to build a truss for the axle, so I picked up another project, a 1990 F-350 Centurion, and it has a pooched motor. So I picked this up out of a van. Need to not rebuild it, but I'm going to freshen it up a little bit and then swap the parts over from the truck motor to this motor, make sure this is in good running condition, and then throw it back in that truck. This video will just be the engine stand and the engine run stand that I'm going to build for it. Should be pretty simple, not going too crazy, but I'm going to make it modular so I can use other engines on it and hopefully get some more use of it versus just a one-time deal. So stay tuned and I'll show you what we're going to do with this thing. Okay, so for this stand, we're going to make it 6 feet long by 4.5 feet wide. 6 feet long, that gives me plenty of room to have the actual engine placed on the stand. And it's actually going to be about 10 inches from the back is where I want the back of the engine. And then at the front, we'll be able to have accommodations for a radiator later, a couple of fuel tanks, a battery, and then the actual panel at the front. And then we can we'll have casters on all 4 corners. We're going to use 3x3 square tube. I believe it's 3/16 wall, and then I have some 2x4 that I believe is 1/4 wall, and that'll be our front. These will be our runners from side to side. And on our 3x3, I'm going to build a little box that I'm going to build around the 3x3, and that will slide up and down. So as we get different engine configurations, we can move it up or move it back based on how long the engine is or where the motor mounts are going to be. To help with supporting that, we're going to drill a hole in the center and drill holes in the rails pretty much from 10 inches in to about where the front of the engine would be. Because if we get a 4-cylinder or something really small, we can put it wherever we want. Or if we end up putting a transmission behind it, we have a little bit more space as well if you want to try running a transmission. So we'll drill holes all throughout, just 1/2-inch holes all throughout. And that'll be pins to help us lock this in place to keep it from sliding back on its own or twisting too much. So we're going to get started on these little boxes first, just drilling those holes. And then we'll cut the 3x3, cut the 2x4, and then put it all together. So I've made up this box. It's got a 1/8 gap around our 3-inch square tube, so that gives us good enough clearance to slide it around pretty easily. I'm just going to weld this one up. Already welded the other one up, went pretty good, so we're going to weld this one up, and then we're going to finish up the actual base of that stand. Melted my glove. That's funny. It smells exactly as what you think it would smell like. That's really fun. But I'll give them that. I didn't feel it. It felt warm, it didn't feel hot. forgot to lift this up. Okay, here it is. Well, it's rolling glory. Doesn't seem to wobble too much. Once the weight's on it, it'll be better anyways. It won't wobble at all. These slide well. And we're good to go to move on to the next step. So, stay tuned.